Hey there, it's Elizabeth and welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a video response from a dear friend Allison from AJ's Inspired Life, and I'm going to be showing you how I make these cute little Christmas tree tags that I've been making to send out at the holiday season. So what you're looking at right now is all of the items, I think, that I use to make the tags. So, let's see. Right here is my Arteza palette. This is the Arteza 36 Watercolor Premium palette, and I love them. So that, and then I have these cards, like this is the beginning of one. Let me just measure it out for you. They are 3 inches. 3 inches by 4 3/4. And the reason I made them that size is because I'm going to be putting them into these cute little Christmas cards, you know, so they'll fit in there just fine with the envelope and everything. Okay, so let's continue going through the materials. So you need some watercolors. Doesn't have to be Arteza, but I do love the Arteza paints, and I've had a lot of fun working with them, and I will leave all of the links below. There are affiliate links included, which means that if you purchase the Arteza products through the links here on my channel, I do get a little bit of I guess you'll call it a commission, I suppose. I'll get a percentage, but it's of no extra cost to you. So we have our watercolors. We have our stamp that I'm using, which is Joyful. I was given that by a friend, my friend Mamie. I'm using watercolor brushes. It's very hard to see the name. They're called Transcend. This is a number 7. There's the point on it. It's a big fat one. And Transcend again, and this is a number 3, a thinner one. I will be using this to actually paint the trees. Oh, let me also say that I got the inspiration to make these cards. This is the finished card, right? The tag, and there you see the glitteries on it, like the little snowflakes on it. I got the inspiration from Marta on Maremy Small Art, and she was doing a different type of card, and so, but I liked her technique, so that is kind of what I'm using here, and then I just made it my own. So I am using this paper also, it is watercolor paper, and it is probably 140 pound Canson watercolor paper. And so that's the watercolor paper I'm using. I'm using archival ink to do my Joyful stamp. I'm using these little glitter markers, and I actually found these at the Dollar Tree, and they work fabulously. And I use those for, see the glittery star and the glittery ornaments on here. So there's that. I'm using the Ranger Tim Holtz Distress Oxide, and I'm using it in Walnut Stain. And keep in mind, you don't have to use all the brands and all that kind of stuff. You can adapt this to anything that you have. If you don't have these watercolors, use another set of watercolors. It's fine. I'm just showing you what I use. Let's get this out of the way. I am using a fan brush. This is just a well-used fan brush. And I'm using iridescent or pearlescent watercolors that I got at Michael's. They're Artist Loft, and so I'm using this white one for the flecks of snow, and I'll show you how I do that. Okay, I showed you this. Yes, this mouse pad is here because that is what I stamp on. It just helps to have a little bit of a cushy, you know, area to stamp on. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, let's move some of this stuff. Sorry for the reach. Okay, so I've started doing these cards. Let's get this out of the way. All right, I've started doing the cards in, oh, Criminy Jane. I do not have an extra card. Really, Elizabeth? Really? Okay, so let's just make one, shall we? so that I can show you how I start out doing them. Okay, so what did I say they were? They are 3 inches by 4 3/4. So let's go this way. We'll go 3 inches, put that over there, by 4 3/4. Okay, where am I? Where am I? That's 4 1/2. That's 4 3/4. Sorry if you can't see exactly what I'm doing, but I'm cutting. Okay, so here we go. Well, that's a lot. Got some schmutz on it. Okay, so we'll just flip it over. All right, so there's my card. Now I need to make sure that I stay in this general area. Okay, so let's start first by looking at our watercolors. Okay, now I took the swatch thing out from the Arteza, but I did find it in my book. So sorry for the glare. There you go. Okay, I'll leave that up there. Those are the colors that are in the palette, and I'm going to use this to let you know what colors I'm using. But really, you can use whatever colors you want. Okay, so let's set this aside so I can just refer to it, hopefully. Okay. Now, yeah, I like these cards as well. Let me just, a little side note. I like these cards as well because it's a holiday card, okay? I mean, obviously there's a Christmas tree on here, but you can do it in any color you want, you know? If you want to do pink trees, blue trees, purple trees, you know, whatever you want. You can use different color inks for your sentiment. You don't have to stamp a sentiment. You can simply glue a sentiment on. You know, there's so many different ways you can do it. But Allison asked if I would do a tutorial on this, so that is what I'm going to attempt to do. All right, so here I'm taking, I might have to stand for this, I'm not sure. Okay, I'm taking my big fat brush and I want to show you my palette here. Okay, so down in here, okay, all I'm gonna do is get my big fat brush because it's a thirsty brush. Let me move my water over here. I don't know, yeah. And I'm just gonna add some water here. Now what we're gonna do the first thing we're gonna do, let me show you here on this one, is we're gonna do the background trees, okay, in a very light greenish, bluish, grayish wash. And I get that wash by putting some water in my palette, and then I'm going to take some of this blue right here, right, and add that, and let me see what blue that is. Let's see here. That is periwinkle blue, I believe. Okay, periwinkle blue. So we'll do that. We'll get some more water and add it. And then I'm also going to take, I believe, cobalt green. Nope, sorry. Fern green, possibly. Yeah, this one right here, fern green. I'm just gonna dip it in, and that's pretty much the color I want right there. It's kind of a greenish, grayish, bluish color, but I'm gonna add a little bit more water because I do want it to be a light wash. And so the lighter the more water you add, the lighter your wash is gonna be, okay? So there we have that. Now we're ready with that little puddle to use our thinner brush. Okay. So I'm going to squish this around. Now this is just one of the things I learned. Oh, here's my little rag too that like I'll dip it on just to get a whole bunch of water off. Not a whole bunch of water, but like I don't want this paintbrush totally saturated. Okay, so now we're going to do our first layer of trees. Okay, so let me just move this over. I'm gonna try to zoom you in. Let me just see here. I have no idea how long this video is gonna be, so go ahead and fast forward to wherever you need to fast forward. Okay, so I went over here and I dipped my paintbrush into, sorry for the glare, into this mixture, okay? Now I'm just going to start on the left here. I really hope you can see this. Okay, and I'm going to just drag a line straight down, okay? Now that's pretty wet, so I'm gonna take my paintbrush, and it's gonna be hard for you to see, but I'm gonna do it straight up and down so that I'm only using the very tip end, the very point, Okay, I'm gonna start at the top and I'm just gonna squiggle, okay? Making my squiggle lines bigger as I go down. I really hope you can see that. Okay, then I'm gonna go back over it again and make some more squiggle lines. Now these are gonna just be a very light wash, okay? Oh, there you go. Okay, you can kind of see it. Let me move it up like that. Okay, see, that's it. That's as simple as it gets. Now, when I first started out, I'll just say very quickly, see, like on this one here, you can see the lines. Oops, I forget I'm zoomed in. Okay, you can see the lines. Now, I mean, that's fine. It's fine. But I like the look better like this, where you can kind of in the center of the tree, you can see some of the lines, but they're not like a very distinct trunk, you know, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, so I'm dipping again in my puddle of blue, gray, green. Okay, and then I'm gonna do one on the right-hand side. Okay, so I really hope you can see what I'm doing. Let me just scoop the paint over a little bit. Okay, and I'm putting the paintbrush like straight up and down, okay? And then I'm gonna put a line down, okay? It's a very wet line, right? So I can go in now. I just put my brush right here, okay? Just to take off a little bit of the excess, but there's still paint on here and it hasn't dried yet. So I'm gonna start up here and just squiggle. Go back and forth, starting at the top. You're gonna start with a, you know, small, and then as you go down, you're gonna squiggle bigger, right? Bigger and bigger, like a triangle shape, because we're doing trees, okay? And also, so I hope you can see that. I know it's super light because these are the background trees of the forest, right? And so when you put the original line down and it's very wet, then you just dab your paintbrush a little bit off so that it's not full of water, and then you can just kind of spread the paint, right? So it's not gloppy, it's just a very fine wash, okay? So the next thing, so here is the next thing that I do, okay? So here's one that is dried. Let me zoom you. No, that's in. Let me just zoom you out so you can see the whole card. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I have these two trees, which maybe they do dry a little bit darker, or you can always darken up. Let's move this over here so you can see what I'm doing, okay? Or you can always darken up this, okay? Just add a little bit more blue and a little bit more of the green, mix it up, and you have a darker wash, okay? If that's what you want. Then the second layer, I dip my brush in, I leave it fairly wet. I do dab a little bit off on the side. Okay, again, putting it straight up, right? I'm gonna now put one, whoops, right in the middle. Okay, right in the middle. And then I'm gonna do the same exact thing. I'm gonna do my squiggles and then very light-handed. Okay, very light-handed. Like my paintbrush is barely touching the paper. Okay, it's barely touching the paper. And by doing the line, by having, you know, that first line that you put down, it's fairly wet. So when you go to do your squiggles for your tree, it will drag. Did I say that already? It will begin to drag the paint from the trunk outward, okay? So again, this is a sample of the next step, which is your center tree. And again, these are just the backgrounds. This is just the background of the card, of the tree, of the forest, okay? So there's that. Now I have a set of these which show the 3 trees, okay? So then, let me see here. So then what I'm gonna do is, okay, I am going to now, let's scoot this over to this side perhaps. Okay, so you can see, okay, now I'm gonna use this puddle here. Here's the card, let's see. Okay, we'll do it like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna do, where is my original? Okay, so now I'm gonna start working on these, whoops, this paintbrush is wet. No worries. I'm gonna start on these foreground trees, okay? So what I'm gonna do with that is I'm gonna use this pile right here, and I'm again going to take my thirsty brush and water this up, you know, and just make a puddle of darker green here. And for this one, I am using the fern green. 1, 2, 3, wait. No, the cobalt green. No. Olive green. Good grief. Yeah, it's hard to tell. Anyway, this is olive green, okay? So I'm making a very light wash of that, okay? And I might add in a little bit of the fern green, which is this one right here. Love that color. It's like a bluey green. I don't know. Okay, so there's that. I'm gonna just squish it off on the side. Okay, I hope I'm making sense. Okay, so we do the same thing. Okay, I'm dipping my number 3 brush into this color that I just mixed. All right, I am gonna dab just a slight little bit just to take out a little bit of the water. So what we're doing now here, let's just put this right here. Can you see that? No, you cannot. Okay, can you see it over here? No, you cannot. Okay, here. You can see it there. We're doing the foreground trees, okay? So we're gonna do the same exact thing. We're gonna hold our paintbrush, well, I'm holding it slightly differently, but you wanna hold it like straight up and down. And especially when you're doing your squiggles, because you just wanna use the very, very tip top, okay? So we're gonna do the same thing, okay? And this is just, and it's just very light-handed, right? You're just squiggling it and you're getting bigger. Your squiggles are getting bigger as you go down. You can go back up again, and then you can even increase the top there to have, you know, more of a top tree, okay? And so there you have it, okay? So there's tree number 4. And you can make it lighter or darker. Like here's some of my other ones. So, you know, if you want to make it darker, no big deal, right? You just simply go back into here and you go back into your colors that you want and you make it just slightly darker. That's all, right? So we're just gonna go right on top here and we're gonna squiggle. And it's just like literally that simple. Okay, squiggle. Like I said, I'm not a watercolorist whatsoever, as you can tell. Okay, I hope you can see that. It's still wet. So there's one tree in the foreground, okay? Now we're gonna move on to this one here. See, I already have the tree in the foreground, and that's all it is. That is all it is putting a light wash of trees in the back. You put your excuse me, you make your center trunk line and then you just go from top to bottom, making small squiggles at the top and then making them bigger and bigger and bigger till you get to the bottom so it looks like a Christmas tree. And that's it, right? So we're gonna do the same thing, okay? Whoa, without throwing your brush around. We're gonna do the same thing over here. And since this is in the very front of the foreground, I'm gonna bring the stem or the trunk, you know, down further because it's closest to us. And then we're gonna go again and do our squiggles, just back and forth to the bottom and back up to the top, okay? And there we have it, right? There we have 5 trees, and I like the, whatever that rule of 3s is, or whatever it is, like odd numbers. So I have 3 trees in the back and then 2 in the front, equaling 5 altogether. Now, what you can do at this point as well is do your bottom if you want to. What I do is I go back to this gray blue right here, okay? Let's bring this back over. Sorry for the reach. Okay, I just get a light wash of that and I simply squiggle it. There are a lot of squiggles in this painting. A lot of squiggles. Yes, okay, so I squiggle it on the bottom. That's it, okay? So now we have the ground, we have the trees, we're all set and ready to go. Okay, so there's that step, okay? Remember, this is our end result, okay? So now we've got all 5 trees, okay? All squiggled on there. Now what I want to do is I want to deepen the color of this, the tree that is most in the foreground, right? Now what I'm going to do is, let's turn this around this way, I think, maybe, so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Let's get to the greens there. All right, let's see. Okay, so I'm dipping my paintbrush and I am drying it off, okay, a little bit. All right, I'm tapping it to dry it a little bit off, and then I'm going to take this color right here, which is fern green, okay, and I am doing it directly into the dry part. Like, I'm not gonna go into the puddle because I want that really bright, vivid color with a lot of intense pigment, okay? So if you'll, well, where can I put this so you see? Okay. See how nice and dark that is? Okay, so I dip it right into the drier part of the little half pan there. Okay, and we're gonna do the same thing, line and squiggle, okay? Very light hand, see how dark that's coming out? And we just want a hint of it, right? So we just want it, I'm gonna get a little bit more paint right on the tip of my brush. We want it dark and we want the squiggles, right? But we kind of want to see that background of the other paint coming through, right? So we just go back and forth, squiggle our lines, and that's it, folks. Okay, you can still see the stem, which, or the trunk, whatever, however you want to call it, which is fine. But there you have that. Okay, now let's see here. I think that's, is that all of my samples that I have? I think. Okay, that's fine, I think. Nope. Okay, so there we have that. Okay, this is what it ends up looking like, all right? And I've done the bottom of it, and I have put 2 lighter trees in the foreground, but then I really darkened up this tree with this 3rd color here, which is fern green in the Arteza palette. This one right here. Okay. So the next step, okay, we're done painting. We're done painting. That's it. That's as easy as it gets, right? That is as easy as it gets. So let's just continue on. Let's move this palette aside. Sorry for the noise. Okay, let's put this in the center. All right, so we're gonna take our pens that we got for a bargain at the Dollar Tree, and they come in like red, gold, and I don't know, something else. Blue and green, I think. They're fabulous for the holidays, let me just tell you. Okay, so we're gonna take our, I'm sure you can see me, I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm gonna take my gold and I'm just gonna do like a little X, you know, just a star shape. That's it. These tags are so easy and they're so fun. And then I'm just gonna take my red pen and my red glitter pen, right? And I'm just gonna dot it around to put little red ornaments. Okay. Anywhere I want. It's my tree. Put one on the end there. Yeah. Okay. And that's it. All right. So you look up closely, see the glitter. These are super glittery pens and I love them. And if you don't have glittery pens, use watercolors or you can use acrylic ink or whatever. Okay. Or acrylic paint. Okay. So there's that. Now, here's this step. Okay. Now we're going to put our stamp on, joyful, because I just wanted these to be like holiday cards, okay? And we're going to stick this, right about there. Okay. I'm going to stick that on there. Hold it for a few minutes. Oh, I forgot to put my, oh geez, I hope it comes out all right. I forgot to put my my mouse pad down. See, that's what happens when you don't put the mouse pad down. That's okay. All right, so cover that up. That was archival ink in vermilion. So it's kind of like a reddish color. And then one of the things that I did forget to get out was my corner rounder, right? So while all this is kind of drying, we're gonna take our corner rounder and we're gonna try to corner round this, okay? Sorry for the noise. I really hope I'm in frame. Okay, then we're going to take our Distress Oxide. I have it in walnut stain, but you can do it in whatever color you want. And I'm just gonna edge the sides because who doesn't like edging, right? Edge this all up. There you go. Okay. And then I'm not going to go through the part of, you know, the obvious, which is, let me find a card here that's normal. Sorry. I'm not going to go through the obvious by telling you to poke a hole in the top and put a ribbon on it, right? Okay. So let me zoom you back out again so you can see some of the desk. Okay. So this is how it starts out. Here are just the steps, right? To get to this right here, all right? So the first step is you put your 2 trees in a very light, the more water you add to your mixture of paint, the lighter the wash is gonna be. So get a color that you like and put some water on it in the palette, put the water in the palette. And then you'll just do a light wash. And it is just as easy as I showed you, right? You hold your brush up straight up and down and you do a line straight down and then you just zigzag your way down, you know, till you have a tree shape. All right. So you put your background trees in first, let them dry. Okay. And then let's see, where are my background trees? Here are all of my background trees, right? So I put 3 in the background. Then I darken up another color, right? I mix colors to make a darker green, and this is more of an olivey green and this is more of a fern green. And so I put my 2 foreground trees in, right? And you can also use the same first wash that you use for the background trees as the ground, the bottom. Okay, so then that's the next step. And then your next step is to just darken up one of the trees. That's it. The one closest to you in the foreground. So you darken that up with, I use it straight from the palette. Okay, straight from the palette. So you do that. Once that dries, then you can go ahead and add your, let's see, your sparkly, see they're sparkly ornaments and your stamp, edge it, poke your hole in it, put your ribbon through it. And then the very last step is, I don't know if you can see it on here, is the snowy glittery part. Okay, I'll show you real quick how I do that. We'll do it on this one. Okay, let me bring you in again. This is gonna be a long video. Okay, I take this brush right here, this fan brush, okay? I give it a wet, all right? I use my Artist Loft pearlescent watercolors, okay? All right, I get some water in there, okay? And then what you do is you take this, and you can use another brush, and you just tap it, okay? You just tap it, it flies everywhere. You're gonna have little glittery snow bits all over your desk, just a warning, okay? And then see those? So that's all you do. You tap it, tap it, tap it, and then when it dries, it's gonna show these little glittery bits all over it, okay? So here's the finished one. Again, showed you all the steps. Oh, look, there's the glittery. So pretty. Okay, so this has gone on long enough, almost 30 minutes for a video. Please remember to fast forward through it if you want to, you know, go through the progression or whatever. So I hope that I explained that, Allison, and I hope that you try your hand at it because they are just super fun and easy to do. And you don't even have to go through like the whole background and foreground and how many trees and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you could, technically speaking, you could even make your own little gift tags if you want and just do one tree, right? Because all it is like I said, is putting one straight line and then zigzagging it down. Very light-handed, okay? And it's wet on dry paper too. Dries very quickly. It's a very simple process. And it's a lot of fun. So I hope you try it. And whoops, that should be in the center. Okay. I hope you try it out for yourselves. And please check out Marimy's Small Art, because she is where I got the inspiration. And then I just kind of twisted it and turned it to what I wanted it to be, which are these cute little tags to send out, right? So there you have it. So yeah, check the links below. The Arteza links below will be there also. And again, there are affiliate links associated with those. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, thank you for sharing your time with me. I hope this was helpful. I hope you give it a go. And yeah, get started on your holiday stuffs, you know? So I'll talk to y'all real soon. Bye.